What is up, YouTube? This is AVAULT here, back again today with you guys, another new Speed Duel deck profile. And today we're doing an update on this very special Zombie Turbo or Zombina Turbo Speed Duel deck profile. So ever since the release of Arena of Lost Souls, we got the zombie monsters, and then with Attack from the Deep, we got some extra zombie monsters to really help this deck bring it up a little notch to be more viable and a little bit more playable in terms of fun. So just so you guys know, this deck profile is a fun deck profile. If you guys are into Speed Duel competitive deck profiles or high tier 1, tier 2 deck profiles, be sure to check out the channel and subscribe to see all the other kinds of Speed Duel competitive deck profiles. But we also do a lot of fun deck profiles here just to have some creative ideas, and so that all players can have some fun in the locals as well. So once again, it is a Bonds zombie type of deck profile we have here today, and as always we have to do a card sleeve review, which I'm really excited to show you guys today, which is a Red Eyes Necro Zombie Dragon card sleeve right here, all the way from OCG, and this came out along with the Zombie Horde Structure Deck Reloaded release. And every time when Konami makes a Structure Deck Reloaded, they come up, they create in the OCG, they create card sleeves for that to pair along as well, which is really great. I just really hope in the TCG that we get something like this as well. I mean, I think there's a market for it. A lot of people who play Yu-Gi-Oh would love to have these. So if Konami, you guys can hear us, we love it here in the TCG as well. I mean, just look at this magnificent sleeve. It just looks really cool. Red Eyes Zombie Necro Dragon. It's just really cool. Love the color. It's really nice design as well. And this is the reason I chose these were because they're remotely or closely related to zombies, and not that we ever will get. I mean, we might get Red Eyes Zombie Necro Dragon eventually in Speed Duels. We never know, but that's gonna be a long way away. Anyways, that's many years to come to see if it actually will happen or not. But decided to show you guys these really cool magnificent sleeves sooner or later. So yeah, without having you guys waiting for too long, let's just go straight into the deck profile. So the two optional skill cards that you can play, which are Bonds skill cards, they're both Bonds skill cards right here, as you guys can see, is either Straight to the Grave or Ectoplasmic Fortification. So the first option, play one or the other depending on what type of taste and play style you guys like. Straight to the Grave is just very flat out decent. You just gain 200 attack and defense of all your zombie type monsters straight off. So it's a safe, very standard good safe increase. The next one is Ectoplasmic Fortification, which is a very interesting skill that came out for Bonds, and I think this is the more slightly recommended skill to go all in and to really be aggressive on your opponent with your zombie turbos. Basically, once per turn, if you control a zombie monster, you place a counter, and you just gain counters over time every single turn as you get zombie monsters, as long as you have zombie monsters in the field. And for each counter on this card, all zombie monsters you control gain 100 attack but lose 100 defense. And you really want to gain and stack up and gain a lot of attack from this card effect. This card has great potential to become really deadly and scary because it makes all zombie type monsters you summon become more and more powerful. And there'll be more cards that we'll be showing in this deck that will actually stack this up, help stack this up, or help stack up your zombie monsters attack even more to make it very make them more powerful basically. So it's like a zombie turbo beatdown deck, honestly. But however, the downside is any battle damage you take involving a zombie type monster is doubled instead. So it is sort of like an all in or nothing type of style type of deck. But if it does go really well, it can go really well. And honestly, the downside of that effect doesn't really hit you that much, honestly, for the most part, unless you run into Amazon Swordsman. So first of all, we are running 3 double costumes. The reason is very simple. It's a 1700 zombie beater. That's it. You don't utilize this effect in this deck whatsoever. And this card probably will be replaced sooner or later, as more zombie type monsters come out that are much better than double costume, and you can utilize their effects instead. So yeah, but sole purpose that we're running this is because it's it's a simple summon with 1700 attack right off the bat, which is one of the highest attack monsters that you can actually bring out as a level 4. Next, we are running 3 goblin zombies. Really great as a part of like a little mini engine you would run inside the zombie turbo. So apart from just summoning zombie monsters and having really high attacks, Goblin Zombie is a second part of this deck where you actually mill your opponent's cards. Milling is the milling decks are right now not that super powerful and in terms of competitive play, but you know, in terms of fun play, and it can get really obnoxious against your opponent. You know, they making them deck out is actually really interesting. And it's very easy as well in speed duels at the same time. So running 3 copies of these is great. You know, inflicts battle damage, mill 1 card. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can easily add 1 zombie monster with 1200 or less defense from your deck to your hand. Next, so you can also just so you guys know, you can add itself as well with its effect. And then also we are running 2 dragon zombies, similar reason as double costs, and you know, it's a 1600 beater that's just 100 points lower than double caution, and it's quite powerful as well as just the attack into it. I honestly think this card can also be as more zombie monsters come out eventually, this card can be replaced with other zombie type monsters. And last but not least, the round of the monsters that's core in this deck are Zombinas. So you're playing 3 copies of those. And the reason of that, it basically allows you to bring back your zombie monsters whenever it's destroyed by battle. It can also scale along with ectoplasmic fortification and also your attack boosts spell cards and trap cards that you might play inside here. And you know, being able to bring back your zombies is just, you know, great. You know, bring back monsters back from the grave. So next, we're only really running 2 types of spell. Some of you might want to run 3 copies of this instead. Is basically Pyramid of Wonders. It's basically, you know, this is one of the cards that really helps along with ectoplasmic fortification and bringing your zombie type monsters into higher attack points as fast as you can. What it does is basically all zombie monsters you control gain 200 attack for each of your opponent for each monster your opponent controls. So the more monsters your opponent controls, the higher attack your zombie monsters will gain. 200 is pretty decent as well, and especially if it's scalable. And if exactly 1 zombie monster you control and no other cards would be destroyed, you can send this card to the graveyard instead to protect it. So that's a really good secondary effect as well to keep your zombie monsters on the field. And again, use to buy yourself time to stack more ectoplasmic fortification counters onto it. So some of you guys actually might decide to want to play 3 copies of this. So that basically rounds off the spells, just 2 Pyramids of Wonders. And then now moving on to our traps. Now we're a slightly heavy lineup. We are running 2 Robin Zombies. This is the milling combo to have along with your Goblin Zombie. And again, with ectoplasmic fortification and Pyramid of Wonders, you know, your zombie monsters are easily, you know, gaining attack, and it's very easy to destroy your opponent's monsters in battle and inflict damage into them, and then you mill a card off from their top deck. This is a possible option. Another alternative option you guys might like is if you guys still prefer the Pyramid of Wonders, instead you can just not play any Robin Zombies and just have 1 more Pyramid of Wonders and then swap out another card to have in your trap cards or monster cards as well, which is also a pretty good option. And Robin Zombie, because the reason why you might want to do that is because there's a lot of continuous spell cards probably going along. If you play too many, you know, you don't want to clog up your spell and trap card zones. That's the reason why. But you know, this has worked out decently for me. You know, it gives you an alternative option to win sometimes in certain situations. So if you can't run them over with your zombie monsters, at least you can probably try milling a little bit more by dealing little bits of damage here and there. And you know, it can be game winning sometimes. But once again, you can probably play 3 Pyramid of Wonders instead of 2 Robin Zombies, and then, you know, swap out another card into it by, you know, for example, playing 3 Michizuris. But we're playing 2 right here in this build, and Michizuris is just really good combo with your zombie monsters, along with especially Zombina. You know, it gives you a little bit more advantage at +1. On top of that, when your Zombinas gets destroyed, you can activate this, pop your opponent's monster, and then you special summon another monster back from your graveyard to make your trades a little bit better. Last but not least, we are running 3 Windstorm of Itaquas. Once again, just a meta staple to play defensively and, you know, turning your opponent's big monsters into defense position, which you generally have lower defense so that you can run over them with zombie type monsters. Classic example is against Blue Eyes. So that basically rounds off this main deck right here. So now we're going into a side deck. Very simple, straightforward side deck. 2 Dust Tornadoes for back row removal, You know, self-explanatory. Get rid of field spells and back lineups and traps that your opponents has. And then we have 3 ready for intercepting. Once again, I mentioned, you know, when you're against other meta decks, you know, at least to be a little bit more playable, playing 3 of these will actually help you a little bit more. So really good cards to swap out with Robin Zombie to sub in, and also some of your monsters as well. So that basically rounds off for this side deck. Very simple, very straightforward deck. You know, its goals and sole purpose is just simple: summon as many zombie type monsters as you can, attack into your opponent, build up ectoplasmic fortification stacks, and with pyramid wonders to build more attack points onto it. Honestly, at the end of the day, the reason why this deck is not competitive, it's still, you know, this zombie archetype is still lacking some key cards that can really bring it out. Honestly, there's even no boss monsters for any zombie types at the moment, thinking about it. You know, maybe one key boss monster and one more support zombie type of monster would really elevate the zombie types. So really hope Konami would release more zombies upcoming soon. And you know, I know they're trying to get into some interesting combos with Robin Zombie and Goblin Zombie with the milling thing. Some of you might play the DK Commander and like the Zombie Tiger combo, but honestly I think the attack power from those 2 monsters are just way too low, and it's just kind of hard to utilize them. But you know, you can play that alternative version, and once again, yeah, attacking with double Costin and Dragon Zombie with higher attack points, I think it's just much more preferable, and you know, gives you a little bit of easy upper hand. So if you guys enjoyed this deck profile, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, you know, just for creativity and some funness to have. Try and playing against with your friends and just to have some fun, but really honestly don't expect that this deck to do really well against a competitive deck overall, just so you guys know. Alright, and yeah, if you guys enjoyed, be sure to subscribe for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh! Speed Duel content, deck profiles, and all that kind of stuff. Many Speed Duel related content videos coming out lately as well. We're also planning to do set reviews, so you guys comment down below if you guys want to see those as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. And this is AVAULT signing